Good morning. Prime Minister Brother Lee Hsien Loong, Sister Ho Chin, ESM Brother Goh Chok Tong, DPM Brother Chi Hien, Brother Taman, Ministers, Tripartite Partner Sister Diana Chia, Brother Chan Jin, Brother Stephen Lee, Tripartite Partners, Union Leaders, Brothers and Sisters, Happy May Day! How have we done since the last global recession in 2009? We went to the OECD website. They have information data updated to the year 2011. So we make a comparison between Singapore and the other OECD countries, the performance from 2009 to 2011. And this is what we found. In terms of unemployment rate, whether it's overall unemployment rates or resident unemployment rate, Singapore is certainly one of the lowest. In terms of increase in employment rates for women, the increase since 2009 against Singapore is certainly one of the highest. In terms of increase in employment rate for the older workers, aged 55 to 64, again, we were one of the highest. In terms of real wage increase net of CPF, if we look at the headline CPF, again, we're among the top 10. If we take just a core CPI, in fact, we were the highest among the OECD countries. In terms of unionization rate, the increase since 2009, again, Singapore was one of the highest. So in other words, we've done well in quite a few areas. And one thing worth noting is that Singapore was the only country that appears among the top 10 in all the 5 areas. I think for that, we can say, well done, Singapore! Our challenge today is to go through this economic transition. We used to be an economy known as a 3+1 equal to 4 kind of economy. Workforce grew at 3%, productivity went up by 1%, and GDP went up by 4%. So that was how we grew the Singapore economy for the last few years. And we are now making this a transition towards a 1+2 equal to 3 kind of quality growth. In other words, slow down the workforce growth from 3% to about 1%, up our productivity from 1% to 2%, and as a result, strive for a steady state of about 3% growth in our GDP. The question is, can this be done? Will we succeed? If we do not succeed, 1+2 may not equal to 3. 1+2 may end up being 2 or 1, worse still, maybe even 0. So I think as PM addresses in May Day message, I think we must succeed in this economic transition so that 1+2 will equal to 3 for Singapore. How can we make this happen? All my life, I've wanted to be a professor. Never have a chance to do so, but today I will play the role of an economic professor. In any economy in the world, very simply put, there's always the supply side versus the demand side to any economy. Just imagine if an economy is able to produce a lot more. So for example, an economy is able to produce this much. However, because the economy is not competitive, as a result, it's only able to export this much. So you can produce a lot, but you cannot find a market for what you're able to produce. So this demand bottleneck will actually cause, so when your supply is less than your demand, what happens? Your GDP growth will come down, eventually your unemployment will go up. This is not what we want, because the 1+2 will not equal to 3. The other way around, what if the demand is still strong because the economy is competitive? However, the supply is weak due to labor shortage we are not able to produce enough to meet the global demand. As a result, our market share in the world will drop. When that happens, competition will become stronger over time. So when your supply is less than your demand, your market share will drop. Eventually, your growth will not only come down, unemployment will go up. Again, this is not what we want, because 1 plus 2 will not equal to 3. What we are trying to do for us to succeed is that, on the one hand, we must make sure that on the demand side, we must continue to remain competitive, right? If we are able to remain competitive, then we will be able to continue to grow our demand, find markets for what we produce, and at the same time, we must continue to become more productive, right? So if you are able to become more productive at the same time, so being productive and competitive both at the same time, then demand can grow, supply can grow, then 1 plus 2 will be equal to 3, right? And if this were to happen, what does it mean for the workers? Why is it so important that we succeed? At the end of the day, what we hope is that all this will translate into better jobs, better pay, and better work-life balances for our workers, for our people. So in other words, this, from the labor movement point of view, this is what success should look like for Singapore. Competitive, productive, and at the same time ensure that Singaporean workers will have better job, better pay, and better work life. And if we can succeed in doing that, which we must, hopefully this will bring this smile to the face of many Singaporeans, right? So this is what we call the why, the why. Why is it so important that we believe in what we do and do the best in what we do to succeed? Why? Because we want to put a smile on the face of every Singaporean by giving them better job, better pay, better work-life balances. And the question is, how? How can we succeed? From the labor movement perspective, there are three how. There are three how that we believe will determine the success of the Singapore transition. A few days ago, famous blogger Miyagi, on his website, this is what he said: cheaper than Silicon Valley, better than China, and faster than Korea. So in other words, it doesn't matter whether we are Singapore as a national economy or Apple Computers as one of the leading companies in the world, we all face the challenge of CBF. There's no running away from CBF. So the first how to succeed is to make sure that the Singapore economy will become more and more CPF. Let's look at how other countries are becoming more CPF. In USA, they are now using robot to work with human as one team. They're not using robot to replace the workers, but rather using robot to work alongside the workers so that they can form an effective human-robot team. They are using technology such as 3D printer, right, to print the impossible, right, to be cheaper, better, faster. What about China? China is also going through an industrial revolution to be more CBF. Every country is now making more use of robot. China likewise. The only difference is that China is adopting robot much faster than the rest of the world. And anything American can do, China want to do better. USA using 3D, using technology. China too, using 3D printer. Not to print the Great Wall of China, but to print, for example, prototypes, customized orders, short production, and so on. What about Singapore? We're not standing still. We too are running fast on this race of CBF. So for example, we're also preparing ourselves for the future of manufacturing, and at the same time, we're also transforming, upgrading our service standard here in Singapore. However, as we move towards this a CBF as a first how, the question is, what is the implication for the workers? So one company told the workers, we are going to enhance our productivity, our innovation, and so on. And the workers asked this question, boss, does this mean that we as the workers have to work harder, have to work longer hours? If that's the case, boss, let us tell you this, we cannot tahan anymore, right? So please find other ways if you want to improve productivity to be more cheaper and faster. Now, is working harder, working longer hours, the best way to become more productive? Let's look at what other countries are doing. In Netherlands, this is how tradition, the old way of paving roads, right? This is the old way, quite tough, workers working very hard, yeah. And what's the new way? Let's take a look. So what happened is that using this new method, the productivity of the workers has gone up by 2 to 3 times. But what is even more important, you will see for yourself, that the jobs of the workers have actually become easier, smarter, and safer, ESS. In fact, we believe there is a second how. The first how is to be CBF, and the second how is to make the job, make the life of the workers more ESS, easier, smarter, and safer. In the context of Singapore, given our low unemployment, tight labor market, there's another third how, beyond CBF, beyond ESS, which is to value every worker. In the recent parliament debate, the Labour MP, we touched on various areas in terms of what can we do, how can we value every worker, all ages, all colours, all nationalities. Of course, not every company value their workers. So when that happens, what do? We fight for the workers. We take the company to court. And in fact, last year, for example, CCU did that, SMWU did that, UE did that. And in every case, we won the case. So I would say that the unions, well done for standing out for the workers. Well done. Yeah. Fortunately, for every employer that is not treating their worker fairly, we are able to find many more employers who are actually doing their very best to value their workers as well. So over the next, I'm going to switch gear now to F1 speed. I'm going to very rapidly run through a series of examples to demonstrate how CBF, how ESS, and how value every worker is taking place on the ground every day, all the times. Lily is a school cleaner. 2007, her pay was $750 per month. Later on, went up to $850. The tripartite partners were not happy with this situation. We introduced the progressive wage model. We defined the job, the skill, the productivity, and the wage ladder. So started from January this year, Lily, together with 3,000 other school cleaners, went on this wage ladder. And guess what happened to her? All school cleaners now start with a pay of 1,000. Lily, being a team leader, her pay has gone up to 1,002. In fact, if she were to go through more training, more upgrading, in fact, if she can become a supervisor one day, her pay can go up to 1,006. So this is a progressive wage model for the cleaning sector. In the wholesale center at Bukit Panjang, under the Inclusive Growth Program, we work with the company and we help them to introduce mechanized equipment for the cleaning of food waste, for the clearing of food waste, for high access cleaning as well as the sweeping of the area. And in this case, In Hua, he used to be a daily rated odd job worker. So under this program, he has trained to operate the machines, and under our progressive wage model, his pay is now $1,870 per month. Another example is security guard. Again, through the IGP and progressive wage model, we introduce CCTV so that they can respond faster. We introduce the visitor management system so that now visitors can be registered much faster without any errors. And under the progressive wage model, gain sharing, all the workers, their pay went up by 11%. And security guard, continue the story, brother Fauzer is a security guard at the Holiday Inn atrium. Yeah, so what happened? Under the progressive wage model, we decided to double skill the workers. So he went through 40 hours of training to double as a concierge. Then at the same time, Brother Morgan, he was a concierge, and same thing, we double skill him, same for training, and today he doubled as security. So the good news for the hotel is that now they've doubled the number of security guard, double the number of concierge without increasing the headcount. Because now one person got 2 skills, can do 2 jobs. And of course, to the workers, under our progressive wage model, their wages both went up by 12%, by 15%. Another example, ST Marine, shipbuilding. In the past, they used to do their work outdoor and subject to the weather elements. So a few years ago, they brought the work within the workshop, so they make the work environment a lot more conducive. And in fact, just last year, they take another step to transform the workplace. So as a result now, this place is less noisy, more ventilation, and in fact, better equipped. As a result, workers' productivity has gone up, and again, through gain sharing, workers' pay will be going up as well. Another example, some F&B restaurants, they've closed shop. They say that they cannot get workers, they close shop. They are not able to grow, not able to survive. But not in the case of Jumbo. Jumbo is very determined to continue to survive, to expand, given the current situation. So what they did, right? So under the CCI, Customer-Centric Initiatives, under the IGP, so they introduced a solution, getting the customer to do self-service. So when you arrive at Jumbo restaurant, you don't wait for the staff to take your so-called your reservation, but you do it on your own, and as a result, the queue time reduced by 85%. When you sit down for your lunch and your dinner, you don't wait for the staff to take your orders. You pull out the iPad, you do your own ordering. Whatever you like, the pictures, just tap, you get it, and as a result, waiting time for food has reduced by half. Jumbo is well known for their chili crab. Chili crab, the secret is in the chili crab sauce. Yeah, so what they did was they created the central kitchen. They produce this chili crab sauce centrally. As a result, they are able to do it faster, but more importantly, the sauce is now tastier and more consistent throughout all their outlets. And putting all this together, the end result is that their complement from a customer has gone up by 30%, their manpower has been reduced by 40%, and the revenue went up by 24%, and all workers, 90% of workers, got a wage increase of at least 10%. So as a result, even the chili crab is very happy. Yeah. What about in the healthcare sector? Yeah, so in fact, Minister Gan Kim Yong was there that day to see this demonstration. Like in the case of IMH, they used to do this manually. So we got the 2 healthcare assistants to help one patient, take about 15 minutes to help the patient when they want to go to a toilet. So now the hospital introduced this so-called people mover device. As a result, one person helping one patient in just 5 minutes. So the job is now easier, safer, and faster. And Sister Indra is a diploma holder. She has been working in the NUH for 24 years. 24 years. As a diploma, she reached her ceiling, right? So she was serving as a service team leader with a maximum pay of 3,007. As a diploma holder, that's it. That's a ceiling. The tripartite partners came together. We decided to implement a progressive wage model, a model which is not based on academic qualification, but based on the skill, competency, and job responsibility. So through these tripartite efforts, we were able to extend her career ladder beyond what it was. Towards now, we added another three more job level. And as a result, Indra has got promoted to service executives, and now she can move all the way up to this senior service executives. Right? So this is how we implement the concept of value every worker. In the case of Brother Muhammad Hasmullah, right, he was working as a class 3 driver for 9 years. On the good months, in good months, he earns about $1,600. Right? So when he heard that our transport and logistics cluster came out with this skill ladder, class 3, class 4, class 5, so he decided to participate in this program. So E2I, we helped him to go for upgrading, we helped him to go for job matching, and as a result, he secured his class 4 and joined the company Easy Bus, become a bus driver. Pay went up to 2,000. He did very well. 2 months later, promoted to supervisor. His pay is now more than $3,000. I cannot tell you the exact number, just in case he doesn't want his wife to know. Yeah, yeah. But he told us, he has never earned that kind of salary all his life. Right? So the pay that he's drawing today is the highest he's ever drawn throughout his whole life when he's 46 years old. And in fact, even better news is that he's now going to an OJT to become an operational executive. So this is what we talk about progressive wage model. Another example is about women. Yeah, our NTUC Women Development Secretariat has been championing back to work women, flexible arrangement, and so on. And we're very happy that many employers actually responded, and DBS is one of them. So in DBS, women can actually opt for flexible part-time work and so on, and even work from home. So as a result, two of the staff, Constance So, 2 children, she's now working 4 days at home, 4 days in the office and 1 day at home every week. Another staff, Joy Chua, 4 days work week, and because she has 3 kids. So this is the kind of example that we are pushing for more and more, so that more women can both have a happy family as well as a meaningful career. What about the mature workers? With the re-employment at age 62, so many will question, well, what will happen to our mature workers when they are on re-employment? Will their job size get smaller? Will their pay become lower? The answer is not necessarily the case. Right? In the case of Singapore Power, UPage, the union, together with the management, in fact, like this particular case, Mr. Ong, he has been working for the companies for 36 years as a driver. And guess what? When he turned 60 years old, the company decided to promote him, send him for retraining, upgraded him from a driver to become a technician. And his pay went up by 17% when he turned 60 years old. And this year, when he turned 62, the company offered him a 3-year re-employment contract with no cut in pay. Right? So this is a good illustration of how you can value a mature workers. What about foreign workers? When we talk about value every worker, it includes the foreign workers as well. In the case of SBS Transit, the leading public transport company, more than 90% of the PRC drivers are members of the union, NTWU. And all these years, the management and the union work very closely together, strengthen engagement, strengthen communication. As a result, in fact, this is an example of the CEO having a dialogue with the PRC drivers. You look at their face, what you see is smiling faces. Why? Because of this active engagement through the union, with the union playing a very instructive role. Another public transport company, known as SMRT, the situation was very different. Under the old management, unionization rate was only 2%. 2% versus more than 90% in the SBST. And what happened, I no need to say, right? You all know. Since then, under the new management, the management has engaged the union. Together, we have corrected the situation. And we're happy to say that today, 86% of the PRC drivers are now members of the union, and we are now on the right track. Yeah, there are still challenges ahead, but now we are on the right track, and we believe that the situation there will get better and better. Last but not least, PMEs. Many people out there have the perception that labor movement, unions, is only for the rank and file workers. This is not the case. 25% of our union membership actually are PMEs. And in fact, in the labor movement, we even have this brand called the UP. You see at the bottom left, UP. U stands for labor movement. P stands for PME. UP stands for labor movement for PMEs. Under the UP branding, for example, with a UP placement, where we introduce career prospect, in this case, the IT industry, to the PMEs, let them understand what are the opening, what are the career prospects, encourage them to take on these jobs so that we can have strong Singaporean core in all these important sectors. At the same time, we conduct job fair through E2I for the PMEs to help PMEs who are looking for jobs to take on these new and exciting jobs. We also, under the UP protection, we also actually educate them, the PMEs, on their rights as employees. Because many of them are not aware of how they can actually go about protecting themselves. So the union does it for them. Of course, what does all this mean under for the PMEs? Because at the end of the day, what we really want to see is the UP progression. We want to see the PMEs progressing up their career ladder. Yeah. So in this particular case, for example, Sister Yvonne Yap, 25 years old, started as a staff nurse. Then later on, she went for advanced diploma, sponsored by the hospital. And she became today she's an acting nurse manager. She's doing part-time degree. And she hopes that one day in the future, she'll become a nurse manager 1 and then 2. And I think the good news for her is that the union, HSCU, working together with management in their latest CA, they've just revised upwards the salary range for the nursing manager. So Yvonne Yap can now look forward to faster progression, but at the same time, in fact, better pay, better jobs as well. Another example is Eugene Low, 44 years old. Eugene Low spent most of his working life as a customer service staff in the logistics sector. But one day, he got tired. He wanted to switch career. Yeah, but to switch career is not easy. You have to acquire new skill, look for new jobs, and so on. So he came to E2I. Because at E2I, we do have a PME program. He came to E2I, so what do? We help him. We help him to go for retraining, and today he's a happy property manager in a condo. Right? So here you see him. So this is what we do to support PMEs who want to go through professional conversion. Another example, Larry Ho, 28 years old, IT analyst. Yeah, so from IT analyst, he moved on to do IT sales. Yeah. Then at some point in time, he found that his career had reached certain limit. He wanted to have a breakthrough, another breakthrough. And he had to go for skill training to acquire skill and knowledge about IT networking. Right. But IT networking courses are very expensive, cost a few $1,000s. But fortunately, Larry Ho is a union member. So he came to the union, and we helped him through the support of the WDA E2I, as well as a union UTech training fund. We helped him to go for this training, conducted at NTUC Learning Hub, Cisco Certified Network Associate. Yeah. After he went through the training, guess what? He got 4 job offers because this skill is quite hot in the market. And he finally decided to join one of them to become a system engineer with the 20% increase in pay. But so this is the kind of thing we do for the PMEs. But most importantly is that we are trying to play a big role in helping the PME of Singapore to transform themselves into a three-shape PMEs, which is a vision of the MOM and WDA. So what did we do? So 2009, just during the global recession, the union, together with the management, together with the government agencies, we embarked on a program to help the wafer fab engineers and technicians to become T-shaped PMEs. We introduced a WSQ program whereby 70% of the skills are deep skill and 30% of skill is horizontal skill. So this program started 2009 and is still going on for 5,000 engineers and technicians, progressing very well. So last year, the industry also encouraged that they decided to extend this program to assembly and test. So as a result now, a few thousand engineers and technicians in wafer fab, as well as assembly and test, are going through this process of becoming a T-shaped PMEs. What about those in service sector? We have not forgotten them. So NTUC Learning Hub created a new entity known as a NTUC, targeted at PMEs. They work with the Disney Institute to introduce the service excellence culture into Singapore. Here you see a group of trainees. We're not trying to turn them all into Mickey Mouse, but rather we try to help them to embrace the DNA of the service attitude of Disneyland. Now, so I think if you look at all this, I think you'll agree with me that a lot is happening on the ground, but all this would not have been possible if not for the efforts, firstly, of all our union leaders out there. In fact, every one of you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Of course, our IRO as well. Right, thank you, IROs. Yeah. Also, our boys and girls, brothers and sisters at E2I. Thank you very much. Yeah. And of course, not forgetting our management partner. Thank you very much. Last but not least, our government agencies. Because without their policy support, resource support, all this would not be possible. Thank you very much. Yeah. Looking ahead, not only we want the economy to be a better economy, but equally, if not more important, we want the society to be also a better society. We need Singaporeans to also learn to value our workers more. Now, in fact, for these ugly Singaporeans who do not know how to value our workers, they can learn something from our students at Pioneer Junior College. At Pioneer Junior College, the student leaders, they noticed that the cleaners, the school cleaners, were working very hard to keep the school clean. So a group of student leaders last year decided to do something to show their appreciation. So they get the schools, the students, the teachers, everybody, every day to put their loose change into a collection box. They collected the money, and with the money, every few months, they'll present this to the cleaners. And this is one example where after the presentation, you see the 13 cleaners receiving this so-called payment from the school leaders. They were very happy. And they call this program Change for Change. First change is your loose change. Second change is your mindset change. And we really hope that this kind of change for change spirit can be spread throughout Singapore so that Singapore can become indeed a better society as well. So thank you to our students at Pioneer Junior College. So this May Day, it's time for us to go out there to show our appreciation, to say thank you to our workers for their contribution to the economy, to the society, to the progress of Singapore. At PSA, we're happy to say that the management has decided to present $250 voucher to every worker at PSA, including the foreign workers. Thank you, PSA. Yeah. The union leaders from this SI group of unions, after this May Day rally, they will not be staying back for lunch because they're all rushing back to SIEC to have lunch with all the engineers, technicians who are on duty on May Day. Wow, well done, SIAEC. And by the way, the management will be there too. At SBS Transit on May Day, everybody, 8,000 of them, will be getting a $20 fair price voucher. Thank you, SBS Transit. And last but not least, Wen Cafe. Wen Cafe is actually owned by NTUC Food Fair, so it's part of the Labour Movement family. In the month of May, 99,000 cups of coffee will be given to the public for free as a way of saying thank you to them. Yeah. So brothers and sisters, in conclusion, we must succeed in this economic transition. And to do so, we must succeed in doing the 3 how rights. The first how, make our economy more CBF. The second how, make the job, the life of our workers ESS. The third how, let us value every worker so that everyone, from young to old, from rank and file workers to PMEs, from male to female, from local workers to foreign workers, every one of them can have better job, can have better pay, can live a better work-life balances. And with that, let us strive for a better Singapore, better economy, better society, one that every Singaporean can live a better life. With that, happy May Day!